Types of connectivity, we've hit on this a bit. XIO is very high performance. You probably want to have pretty high performance interconnects. So the 8 gig FC ports, or the FC ports are 8 gigabit. You can connect them to 4 gig, but I'm going to tell you I'd rather you do it to 8 gig. I mean, again, you're putting in a thoroughbred type storage array. Best to not limit it by the interconnect unless you can help it. iSCSI is 10 gig, and it's handled via what we call the SFP Plus connections. They're down on the bottom right, and these are fairly common. You have to use a switch, of course, with SFP Plus. You can't use copper, Cat6. So just keep that in mind as well. And there are some distance limitations that come with the SFP Plus. You can go up to 10 meters with the active cables. So that's probably good enough to get you to a switch, but it is something to keep in mind. Physical requirements. Let's talk about how much space these guys take. So the first X brick takes a total of 6U of rack space. 2U for controllers, 2U for DAE, and 2U for the battery backup units. The second brick also takes 6U, but there's no battery backup units. Instead, the extra 2U is for the InfiniBand switches. And I'll tell you now that really the second brick may take 7U. EMC really wants you to leave a 1U space between those two InfiniBand switches for cable management. You can get around that doing what's called an RPQ, request for product qualification. Basically, they're going to confirm that you have good cable management in the rack it's going into, and so it won't cause a problem. So it could be 6U, probably going to be 7U. Third brick takes 6U because you get another set of battery backup units. Fourth brick takes 4U of space because there are no battery backups and no additional InfiniBand switches. So this has changed a little bit. I actually mentioned this back in Module 1. The original shipping config, at least as spec'd, was the two IB switches were in a single 1U kind of frame, but they went to larger switches. My guess is because they were expecting to go with more bricks in a cluster later and kind of hedged on that a little bit. So kind of these should be the updated and correct numbers. And if you're going to do a physical XMS, you need to add an additional 1U of space. So your first X brick with an XMS would be 7U of space, not 6. Power